But yes, hello Twitch and everyone watching. This will also be uploaded on YouTube. So if someone wants to watch it at a later date, please feel free to do so. I am Zabuza85 and these are two of the game devs from the game Cold Steel Defiance. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Did the call drop?
I don't think the call dropped. He said like a little bit earlier that a storm went through his place, so he was having some internet problems. I'm wondering if that's what caused the audio issues.
Alright. Well, I'm gonna introduce myself. My name is Ibrahim Nakhal, and I'm co-developing with Constantine, who just dropped off right now. I'm handling in general the moving the project forward, creation of the story and the characters.
Alright, so while we wait for the other person to come back, why don't we just start off with some of the questions? And let's just start off with some basic questions of the game, as I'm sure there are some people in here that have no idea what the game Cold Steel Defiance is going to be about or what it's going to be like. So why don't we just start with that? Like, what will the game be about? What's the plot?
Can you hear me now?
Oh yes, you're back. I can hear you now.
There we go.
Internet issues. Yeah, there was a storm here, so the connection is a bit.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, we just lost you again.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so much more clear.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the microphone on these. Okay, everyone. So what name is?
Alright, let's just start with it then. You were in the middle of introducing yourself when the audio kind of cut out, so. What?
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. So, my name is Constantin Florin Boșneag. I am the lead game designer and co-producer for Cold Steel Defiance.
Yes, it's such an honor to be with two game devs here right now, because I don't know if other people know about this, but I am an absolute huge fan of the indie gaming the indie game community. And I absolutely love indie games, especially the ones that have zero affiliation with any of those big publishers. So why don't
That's nice to hear.
Yes, I absolutely love indie games. To think that you could do it and you don't need to be like contracted to a big publisher, it's a really good thing. To think that just any old person can just come in and program a game and then have it be awesome and amazing I just really love that. So, whoa, now that's a surprise.
What you need mostly is passion.
Yes.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah. So let's get started with this. I'm sure some of our, as I've said before, but then, Constantine had audio issues. I'm sure there's a few users over here watching this stream that have no idea what the game is about. So why don't you guys just start with explaining that? What will the game be like? What will the game's plot be? Genre, and basically how will it play?
Okay. So Cold Steel Defiance is an open world action RPG in a science fiction setting in the pre-FTL era. So basically, it's set in the early space colonization period prior to interstellar travel. Basically, humanity just got out of World War III and they just started colonizing the solar system. Their technology is still a bit primitive. Yeah. Oh, what was that?
I am not sure.
Oh, that was some guy on his motorbike.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
speaking
yeah,
of
yeah,
that,
yeah.
I hope my next door neighbor does not start up his boat engine. I don't know why you would do that. I don't know why you would do that. I live on a mountain, but sometimes he just starts up his boat engine, and it's like, why?
Yeah, the same. It's the same thing here. Okay, so either way, let's not get too off topic here.
Yeah. So yes,
So,
it
yeah,
will be
basic-
an open world RPG, and I am on another computer accessing just a bunch of questions that people have asked me in a topic I started, and someone was asking. Here it is. Yes. User Armored Chocobo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. On the website Let's Play Sanctuary, which is where I asked people for just if they had any questions that they wanted to ask. I will be letting people on the live chat also ask questions, just not at this time. We will get to your questions near the end of the live stream. And he was asking, was this influenced by any other games and media, and if so, how?
Well, actually, it's a mix of influences and ideas. I mean, gameplay-wise, it has some influence from the Gothic series, at least in terms of the skill system, which has some similarities. As setting and as plot, well, it's rather based on conspiracy theories, and I mean, this is what started it. So this is a game about conspiracy theories and things like this. Without, I can't go into too much detail without spoiling.
Oh yeah, I completely understand.
Yeah. But basically, it's just a mixture of ideas mostly. I mean, we actively sought to do something original, to do something that hasn't really been done, or at least not very much. And early space colonization is something that not even many science fiction novels have gone into.
Yes, that's actually very true. I've read my own fair share of science fiction novels, and not many are based in early space colonization. They always hint at it, but never go into it.
Yeah.
And okay, other questions. Yes, user Mamushi LT. That's a little weird name, but whatever. On Let's Play Sanctuary has actually 3 questions. All of them have to do with the game mechanics. What will the 3 questions are: what will make the game stand out? Is there character customization, and will there be a party system?
Okay,
About
so-
Ibrahim,
so-
you take this?
All right. So what we're planning on doing with this is that we're trying to make it. If you guys have seen, we've been concepting these ideas from about 2 years back, and this was before anyone saw. But if you've seen No Man's Sky, we wanted to do something like that where you'd be able to leave a planet and get on it, and you wouldn't have to go through any loading screens. Everything is still simulated in real time, sort of like how also if you take a look at Skyrim, everything is going around and moving around you even if you're not there. And we wanted to try and get that working, so to speak. And that's what we wanted the world to work, is that we wanted to make it keep moving, and that it doesn't really care about you until you do something to make it notice you.
That's actually
Yeah, so basically Ibrahim practically has it here. I mean, it's a very vibrant, living world. Every NPC has his own daily routine. I mean, they all go to work, they sit around and chat, they drink, they go to bars, they argue, they sleep. We have a full day and night cycle. So the game will have a full day and night cycle, yeah. And this will also link in with the stealth system. We also have a unique reputation system, I mean, we throw away the classic good versus evil alignment system, Paragon, Renegade, stuff like that. And instead we went for a reputation system based on 4 personal goals. What this means is, I mean, basically these goals are altruism, glory, wealth, and power. And this, I mean, the mechanics behind this are completely different from what's usually done in RPGs. I mean, let's take an example here. Some merchant. Let's take a quest example here and how it could work. In a classic RPG, you have the usual merchant has problems with bandits, and you need to take care of the bandits. Okay, depending on how you talk to him and stuff, you get the good or evil points, Paragon, Renegade, stuff like that. Well, in our game, this reputation system and what it would do, you could be the altruistic guy and help him out of the kindness of your heart, or you could try to haggle like crazy and bargain for more payment, more money, more favors. You get reputation points in wealth, and basically you get a reputation that you're a greedy person. You could also ask him favors, ask him to spread the word about you. Basically, to advertise your services, you get glory points. Or you could take over the bandits, help the bandits kill them because they were a bunch of incompetent idiots so far, and get all their contacts and all their connections, basically, and thus your influence grows and you get points for power. And how the reputation system works is it's actually a mix between, I mean, there is a system in the background which calculates how many points you have for everything, and it creates an average. And based on this, it assigns you a reputation template, a reputation type, to which other NPCs which have various personality scripts will react depending on their personality. So you have greedy NPCs who will who will only like you if you have a high wealth score. You have shifty, power-hungry NPCs who only like you if you are very powerful, and so on and so forth. So basically, this is how it works, this entire system, and this thing applies to every single NPC in the game. They all have these reputation templates.
Oh,
so yeah.
Seems like wow. I've never seen anything like that in any other game, to be completely honest with you. I've played a few other games, like I can name Infamous on my PS3, and then I think there's also Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, but they always have like they call the good or bad different things depending on what game you are, but it's always just good or bad. You have all these other different things. Ooh, this is quite an ambitious project.
Yeah, it is, and surprisingly, implementing these NPC reactions isn't that complicated. I mean, all you need is the personality templates, which basically then you set in which basically sets the reactions of an NPC, and then you key the dialogue options to reaction type A, reaction type B, reaction type C. Basically, you link them up. And depending on what type of personality you selected, the game basically figures out what reputation you have, and depending on that, it selects A or B or C or D. So yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to one of the other 2 questions. Will there be character customization? I think by what Mamushi means by this is you'll be able to control how your character looks, or starting, as you've explained the reputation thing, you start with, I'm assuming you start with barely any of a reputation, but would you be able to just customize looks, possibly some of the small amount of reputation you'll have in the beginning? Just what kind of character customization will there be?
Yeah, we discussed this quite a bit. and in the end we decided not to go for a classic character customization system where you select the face and the haircut. Instead, there will be plenty of armors and clothing options, uniforms, because in this game there are like 3 different countries. They're different countries and they have different clothing styles, different military uniforms and everything, and you can mix these up.
Yes, I will
You
bring
also have,
some of those uniforms up on the screen right now.
Okay.
There's one.
So yeah, if you could show them, it would be perfect.
That's one of the uniforms. That is Federation, I believe.
I don't know it.
And there's also there's a file is titled Echo 3 Soldiers. I am not entirely sure what this is.
Yeah, that's a mercenary. That's a mercenary company. It's tied into the main plot.
Yes. Okay, so
Yeah, so it's another one of the organizations, because aside from the 3 main nations, there are also a bunch of smaller organizations, private companies, pirates, mercenaries, and so on and so forth. So basically, it's a world of politics. There's a lot of politics going on between the factions and interests, financial and territorial interests, and basically, yeah.
yes, and the last question that Mamushi asked, will Cold Steel Defiance have a party system? I'm assuming, but what this means is, you know how in games like Knights of the Old Republic you can have NPCs come with you, or in Skyrim you can have a companion.
Yeah, there will be a party system. In fact, I will let Ibrahim take over here and talk a bit more about the party characters and several of the characters we have designed right now.
Alright, so we do have a party system in the works. How many companions you'd be able to take with you, we're still working on that. But the thing is that each of these characters has their own backstories, and whether you keep them in your party or not, you'd be able to do companion missions with them. That's almost one of the basic needs of a RPG, I would say, is that like if you have companions, you have to have some sort of mission storyline to go with them. We do have a set number of companions that are recruitable from each nation. We have roughly 2 to 3 that are recruitable from each of the 3 factions. This is not including possible ones that we are thinking of putting in the sort of corporates and different bands of people that you can encounter throughout the world.
Yeah,
these are
basically
still
minor factions
in the works. These are still in the works, as you see. I don't know if I can show you right now. We have a short picture of the main character with his
a bunch of
few of the companions that are recruitable in the game. Actually, all 3 of them each come from a different area in the game. If you can take a look from going from right to left, you've got
it's one of the 2 wallpapers.
Yeah, the one with the 4 characters.
I'm assuming the one with the people on it.
Yeah. That
both
one.
The person in the blue armor is the main character, and the 3 surrounding him. Each one comes from a different place. The one on the far right comes from the Eurobond Dominion, which is on one of Jupiter's moons, and then you've got the one to the main character's right, which is in a military uniform, and he comes from the SSR, and then to his left is a person who comes from the he comes from the Islamic Federation, which is on Mars, and that is actually the beginning area. So he's almost one of the first recruitable characters in the game.
Yes, I just noticed a question on the chat regarding the armors. Asking, I'm just going to read it out. Is there going to be a bunch of armors that can give you better stats? A system of equipment, say, similar to, say, Spiral Knights, where you can equip one armor for stats and another armor for looks at the same time?
You won't be able to equip multiple armors in the same time. I mean, there's different armor suits, but you can mix clothing and uniforms with different armors. I mean, every set of clothes and uniforms that you can acquire, either by buying them or by earning them, is designed in such a way as to be compatible with with any armor in the game. Some of these armors may improve some of the stats. I mean, again, this is still under debate. We haven't really decided on this aspect yet. But yeah, there will be a bunch of different armors with different characteristics. For example, every nation has its own distinct style of armor and its own distinct tactics and focus. Which, I mean, you get what you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. I am looking through the list of questions that I have right now, and people want to know more about the dev team of the game. Like, how many people are helping things out, what's your experience with video game development, so on.
Okay,
right
so basically, 10 people. Yeah, we're about 10. Yeah, we're 10 people right now.
Yes,
and each of the people that we've recruited, you know, some of them we've approached, a few of them actually approached us. We have two people working on sound and music, and those two guys actually did approach us. Most people actually were recruited by Konstantin here, and others I brought into the mix. We have a few modelers, some concept artists. One guy is actually helping us work on our own website. And then, of course, you've got Konstantin and me who are leading the projects, and we're kind of doing everything else. We're being the everything men, you know, dealing with legal things, recruitment, modeling, texturing, you name it. If it needs to be covered, we're there doing it. Because, you know, in an indie industry, you got to wear many hats. But we do have some specialists working with us, and if it weren't for them, we actually would not have gotten anywhere. We have a really great team working with us, and you know, I just hope that we can go the full stretch with these guys.
Yes, I really do hope you can go the full stretch with this too. I mean, this game, it looks amazing so far, and I definitely do want to play this. And speaking of that, people have been wondering, what platforms will this be on?
PC. PC currently.
Yeah,
on PC.
we're limited to the PC at the moment because we can't really afford licensing for any other things. But if the game is very successful on the PC, we do have it set that if we are getting things if we're getting a lot of sales on PC through Steam and other PC platforms, we will make a port to the PS4 and possibly the Xbox One if we can get the licensing for them. You know, these titans, they're really picky on what games do and don't get on their consoles.
Yeah, they agree.
So it honestly depends on how well it'll do on the PC. But that being said, PC still has a very large market, and we hope we can, reach out to a lot of people. And from then, it's like a stepping stone. Once you get that down, you can take the next step in getting somewhere.
Yes, and you mentioned Steam on there. There are probably a few people, I don't know if any's watching this live stream right now, but there are probably a few people out there who want to use Bitcoins to buy this game. I do know how to get Steam Cash using Bitcoins. If people want me to, I will post a tutorial of that on my YouTube channel.
So
I'm looking through... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically there will be a bunch of different distribution platforms. We might even end up having our own option, but this is still under discussion. Most certainly we would like to have a Bitcoin payment option, and we would like to offer the customers the possibility to purchase the game in whichever way is more comfortable for them. But again, this also depends on resources and manpower, and we'll cross this bridge when we get to it.
Yes, it's probably best left that way. And I am looking through some of the other questions that we have. Okay, are there any special game mechanics? You've already explained things like the reputation system. But anything else that's like special that would set this game apart from other games like Skyrim or...
Basically, we will have bullet penetration. Every gun will have bullet penetration depending on a certain percentage of a chance, and there will also be a cover system. So basically, this makes the gunfights very realistic, very dynamic. You have to move around. You have to coordinate with your NPC party members because just hiding behind the wall and popping out every now and again to fire a few bullets, it won't work. It won't work because enemies will use suppressing fire. They will use coordinate tactics, flanking, grenades. Basically any abilities and weapons they have.
Okay, and...
So, yeah.
Yes, there is just one more thing I would like to say, and then we will move on to taking questions from the chat. And this person asked, are you using things such as Kickstarter to help build funds for the project? Well, I personally already know the answer to this question, but I'm sure there are probably some who don't know the answer, so...
Yeah,
most definitely,
yes, the game will be coming to Kickstarter, and... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we're trying to set... we're still in the process of getting our Kickstarter campaign up. But once we do, as soon as that gets through, things will start really, the wheels will be turning at that point. Because honestly, a Kickstarter it can make or break an indie game. Right now we're running on zero budget, and we've gotten pretty far. But if we get the Kickstarter funding, it'll just, like fuel to the fire. It makes things burn faster, it makes things run quicker. We're still in the process of getting the campaign up, however, and we hope to get it up soon, because once we do, that really will say something, depending on what kind of feedback we get, how we should continue from there.
Yes, I promise I will find some way to get some money to that Kickstarter campaign on my own. I don't know how I'm going to manage to do it, as I don't exactly have a credit card linked to my PayPal account, but I will find a way. I promise you I will find a way.
I'd like to add a few things about the Kickstarter campaign. One of the things which has been decided is that we want to reward our backers and get them involved directly into the project, to give them a way of leaving their fingerprint on the game. And basically what this means, I mean, you know how most games funded via Kickstarter, they have a list of credits and include every backer there. Well, we decided to take this one step further, and people who pledge a certain amount of money and contribute the most to the development of this project will be rewarded by basically having their face and their name on an NPC in the crew of the player's ship. So basically, the people who pledge a certain amount of money, they have an NPC modeled after their facial features, and which also receives their name. We want to. We decided this because we want to involve the people who support this project directly, and we want to make them feel rewarded. We want to let them know how much we appreciate the financial effort which they are making.
Yes, I'm sure that's going to be a rather large sum of money, because there's no way you can do that for everyone, so... But...
Well, we haven't decided exactly.
Yeah, we're not going to release at this time how much a person needs to pay to get themselves placed in the game, but once we do get that, we're pretty sure people would definitely enjoy. Imagine you could say, "Look, I'm in this game," like me as a person.
Oh, yeah,
it's not just we took their. Yeah, a lot of we're sure a lot of people who are interested in the game would definitely like to leave that kind of fingerprint, leave that kind of footprint. And barring that, we could also end up coming with some other ideas about that. It doesn't always have to be, we'll just put you in the game, because of course some people, they do like backing projects, but they don't want to they don't want to get themselves in the game. They're a lot of times shy. So of course we can come up with different ways of rewarding people who do want to back this project with large amounts of money.
Yes, alright, now moving on to questions from the chat, because I'm sure there's people who want to ask. As a matter of fact, there's one up right now. Oh! This person, Hank13576, I'm not sure how he came up with that Twitch name, but yeah, I know him personally in real life, and he wants to know, will there be a relationship system in this game? So I'm assuming that means something like how in Skyrim you can have relationships with certain NPC characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a really this is a really touchy topic.
Question. Yeah, we discussed this quite a bit, and we decided that there are other more important gameplay and story and plot issues which need to be addressed. There are other areas of development which need more attention. I mean, we have very limited resources as a team, and we feel that the relationship system, I mean, romance and love interest, or whatever people choose to call them, they're just a secondary feature which doesn't really contribute much to the game. This being said, you will be able to, you will have a certain type of relationship with your party members. I mean, there is a certain kind of friendship involved, and an element of psychology. But yeah, we decided that cheesy romances isn't exactly the focus of this game.
Yes, and speaking of things like secondary function, this is just a thing that I've been it's a question that's been on the back of my mind for a while now, but I just I really want to ask it. How, will you support, mods for the game that just people who really like the game and they just want to add something in or they want to do something else, how will you, like for mods, I know some companies, they like mods so much that they just add it in the main menu. Mods, if you want to load it up, go right there. And others actively try to stop mods from even existing. So how will you guys deal with that?
Yeah, you know, I actually got into the gaming industry with modding. I mean, there was this game called Gothic 2, which everyone was making mods for a couple of years back. And yes, basically we want to support mods. How exactly we are going to do this, it remains to be decided. But yes, we do intend to support mods, to allow users to mod the game. We just haven't decided all the logistical aspects of this yet.
Yes, and another question from the chat, from the same user as before. Will there be crafting? That's an interesting one.
Yeah, about crafting, we had a little discussion about this, and we felt that the crafting system isn't really necessary. But instead, what we have is an item customization system. We will have a weapon customization system. If you could bring up one of the concept arts of a gun.
Concept arts of a gun. Alright, I am on it.
Yeah. So basically, if you take a look, every gun has a number of tactical rails on it. Basically, you can have attachments to every gun which modifies the gun's stats. And yeah, but in the end we felt that a crafting system isn't really necessary for what we're trying to do. I mean, I can list a whole number of really great RPGs which don't have a crafting system, and they're still amazing games.
Yes,
but who knows, if we have the funding for it, we might do it at some point, but currently we have other priorities. I mean, we'd rather do a finished game than a mixture of half-finished, half-completed features. So yeah, depending on how much money we get. Yeah, depending on how much money we can get from Kickstarter, and depending on sales, we might release such a thing afterwards. Or we might implement it prior to releasing the game on the market, depending on the Kickstarter results and on the reception and on the feedback.
Yes, I am going to see if there are any more questions on the chat before we move on, and because I'm a lot of questions.
Okay.
Okay. I will let you guys know that there is a delay in this, so it may be... Oh, Hank is thinking again.
Yeah.
While we wait, I'm going to start
Hank,
the song.
About voice acting, Hank. Yes, we do plan on having voice acting. I mean, in fact, we plan on having full voice acting throughout the entire game. And aside from that, we also want to get our voice actors from the correct ethnicity as the NPCs they are playing. So we want to have real actual accents in the game. So, for example, for Russian characters, we want to have Russian voice actors. And for Arab characters, we want to have Arab voice actors, and so on and so forth.
Yes, I don't know.
So yes, there will be voice acting.
Yes, I don't know if that's actually important to anyone else, but that's actually somewhat important to me. As a person who has played Age of Empires 3, and then I understand Japanese, I speak Japanese fluently, but some of the characters that speak Japanese in that game, their accents are just terrible, and it makes me cringe.
Yeah,
I know the feeling.
That's one of the things that comes up with a group as ours. A lot of us are working internationally. I myself am Arab, and it frustrates me every time they get, your language wrong, and it ruins the authenticity of the game. We wanted to try and make this game as authentic as possible. We're trying to look into how does this culture run? How do these people speak? How do they react to certain things? We don't want to make it, like one of those other RPGs where it's like, everyone got united and it's just humans and it's just this kind of alien and it's just that kind of alien. But there's always like subcultures of a culture, and we need to get that right before we can even take any other step in immersing people in the game, because as soon as you make a character authentic, they become real. And when the character becomes real, it makes the game that much better. Because with a real character, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, with the characters that seem a lot more authentic, that just, in my opinion anyway, really improves the game.
Yeah, I mean, we put this much attention into everything. We want to have a game that in which the player can immerse himself as much as possible, and everything from the soundtrack to the art direction to the fashion design, everything is designed to feel like that. Everything is designed to contribute to immersion, to feel natural, to feel realistic. You won't have 100,000 numbers popping up on your screen everywhere. I mean, you scored the hit and you took 50 hit points off that character's life. No, you won't have that. Even the interface will be as minimalistic and as unobtrusive as possible. This is to increase immersion.
Yes, I'm sure that will be beautiful to see once it's completed. I'm really actually somewhat hyped up for this game, more than I've been for a lot of games, to be honest. This whole thing, it seems really... I think the only other game I've been this excited about, it hasn't even been released yet, and I don't even have the console to play it on, so... Anyway, you mentioned something about factions before. You did say there were 3 nations. I think some of our users will want to hear more about the 3 nations. You don't have to go into so much details as you spoil things in the game, but just basic things.
Yeah, if you could wait 1 second, let me pull up a sheet here. So basically, we have three nations. And every one of these is different. I mean, first up we have the Islamic Federation. These guys, ironically, unlike what most people, especially the Western audience, would expect, the Islamic Federation is the only democratic faction in the game. And basically, during the game, it's actually election year. So, I can't go into detail, but this will also tie into the game and create some interesting opportunities. The Islamic Federation, they have a monopoly on agriculture. They are basically the only ones who produce any food anymore, because, Earth has vanished somehow. No one knows what happened. Was it destroyed? Did something happen? So basically, we have this world in which we have a couple of survivors scattered about who joined together and formed their own different nations, and they're all struggling to survive. So yeah, the Islamic Federation, they have the largest land forces and also the largest population. In addition to these guys, we also have the Eurobond Dominion, who are basically the successor state of the European Union, which during World War III were the capitalist dictatorship, basically the oligarchy. And basically these guys are a corporate slave state. I mean, they actually have legal slavery, and they don't have a government. They have a corporation which runs everything, and everyone is private property, and so on and so forth. They're basically the Ayn Rand gone wrong, if you know what I mean. Yeah. These guys, they have the access to the most advanced technology of all the factions. They have the most advanced technology. They also have the largest water resources, because they're on Europa, Jupiter's moon, and that moon has underground oceans. So yeah, and the third faction is the Socialist Star Republic, which styles itself a democratic socialist nation, but in truth it's a military junta. What the SSR is the successor state of the Russian-American alliance. And after World War III, when colonization started, the Americans and the Russians set up all these military bases in the asteroid belt, and they have this massive fleet. And when Earth vanished, all these soldiers, all these ships, they were left basically without a country. And in the end, they united and formed their own nation, who is supposedly a democratic country, but in a perpetual state of martial law. And basically, they're a military without a military with a country. They don't have a civilian population. Everyone gets drafted into the military at the age of 18 because they're under martial law, and they don't have any civilian population. And martial law continues for as long as they don't have a civilian population. So yeah, it's a self-perpetuating cycle, and they're basically run by the
catch-22.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So basically, they're run by the Joint Chiefs of Staff. This is like a council of generals, and they're basically a military dictatorship. But that's only because their entire population is the military. They have basically the largest fleet of all three factions. They have the largest fleet, and they control this strategic position in the asteroid belt, and through this they tax trade between the Islamic Federation and the Eurobond Dominion. They also are the only ones who have the industrial infrastructure to produce new weapons and new guns, so they're also the largest weapons manufacturer. So yeah, this, without going into too much detail, this is a brief overview of the factions. Each of these factions also has its own very detailed backstory and different role and quest arc in the main plot at some point.
Yes, speaking of things like backstory, it's just something that came to my mind while you were talking about each one, because it sounds like they all have a really long backstory behind them, backstories that I'm very interested in hearing, but I've been wondering, will those backstories be introduced during the gameplay, or will you, say, find like data sticks or data pad and then be able to read it later on?
It's a mixture of these. Option? It's a mixture of these two things, actually. You can also find text data and documents and things, but you also hear about these things from other NPCs and gain this information through interaction. Of course, all this information is actually recorded in your journal, regardless of where it came from. So yeah.
Yes, I just took a look at the chat again, and Hank is wondering about the factions. When joining a faction, will this change your reputation with another faction and their people? Like, say if you joined one faction and you visit a different faction's town, people will react to your presence differently depending on what faction you're in. Like, and he specifically, like, says, and I quote, like in the good old cowboy movies when the big baddie walks into a small town and everyone runs into hiding.
Yeah, the factions here play a different role. I mean, you, the player character in this game, you basically are the leader of your own smaller sub-faction. I mean, you run a mercenary company. And after you get the ship, after you acquire the ship, in the first part of the game, and you can move around. Depending on how you do things, you align yourself with one faction or another, and you get hired by them at some point to do a certain mission, and this is basically where the main story arc starts. But yes, this will also have an influence. What faction you join will also have an influence. I mean, if you look at I don't know if you have looked at some of the articles we have posted on IndieDB. It basically it's a more detailed overview of the Socialist Star Republic, and somewhere towards the end of this article there's a section called Diplomacy. So yes, this also matters because the Cold Steel Defiance is a world of different politics and different conflicting interests. So yes, which faction you align yourself with will also influence how the other factions will react to you.
Yes, that's actually very interesting. I'm going to see if I can... I'm sure that it's up there, I just want to see if I can find it. Well, I guess I'll just worry about that later, because I don't want to waste too much time. And just to avoid the delay, I'm going to be asking for more questions through the chat. Ooh, any plans on a release date? Oh, this is something interesting.
Yeah, right now it's a bit early to say when exactly will the game be released. Ideally we'd want this to happen somewhere in late 2016, early 2017, but right now it's still a bit too early to say for sure.
Yes, the game is still in very early development. I'm sure that a lot of people want to get their hands on it as soon as possible, but I do urge people who would jump out and say I want this fast to take a step back and think about it, as I don't know about others, but I personally would rather have a good game that takes a long time in development than a game that is released really fast and is not complete.
Yeah. There will be early access for some of or all of the people who back us on Kickstarter. So yeah, there will be this option for people who can't wait for it to get released. So yes, there will. A lot of the indie games nowadays have early access, and I think that this is a very good idea. So yes, we will also have an option to give the people who are impatient the possibility to play the game. Of course, there will be bugs. It will not be completed. Some things may be missing. But yes, there will be an early access feature and an open beta.
Yes, speaking of the betas, I am thinking that there will be a way of reporting things like bugs, and especially with an open beta where you will get things, and I assure you, you will get people doing things whom you thought no one would ever do. I can name one.
Yeah, we're actually counting on this, because otherwise to have a closed beta and have only 3, 4, 10 people testing it, or paying a huge QA team to test it. The second option is way beyond our resources, and the first option would result in either an extremely long development time or a very buggy game. So yes, there will be a website interface when the early access gets released for reporting bugs, and we will look through these, and we will work very hard on fixing these. So yes.
Yes, just saw something on the plans. On the chat. Hank is asking, I'm just going to read it out. I am currently following another indie game called Revan, I hope I pronounced that right, and since they already have their game funded, they're now making a spin-off game with a completely different gameplay style. Will you have plans of doing something like this, or just make another game entirely? So I'm assuming this is something that will come out more as the game progresses towards completion, but
this is way too early to decide on what we will do after this game. Currently, we'd rather not split our resources and our forces to developing 2 games simultaneously. We'd rather focus completely and entirely on getting this game out, and then we will see what will happen next. If the game is successful, there probably will be a sequel, or maybe it will become a trilogy, but as I said, it is still way too early to talk about this. Ask us again when the game is in beta, and we will have more information then.
Yes. I'm assuming there will be a lot more information when the game is in beta.
Yeah.
But yes, it is 11 a.m. where I am at. It's been about an hour. I don't want to make this too long, otherwise YouTube might have problems with it when I upload this there. So I'm going to end it here. But if people have more questions, please feel free to ask. I will link to the game's IndieDB page in the YouTube video's description, and I am sure that there are a lot of other ways that people can ask questions, especially once the website gets up.
Oh, definitely, yeah. We're that's one of the main reasons why we're getting the website set up, is to get people to, find us, ask us questions. If they have any quandaries, concerns, qualms, what have you, just shoot us a message through that contact form that we have, that we're going to have up on our website. Barring that, you can always find us on the IndieDB page. Send us a message there.
Yes, so thank you everyone who watched this. I do not have the Twitch, the actual video open on any of my computers because I don't want to waste too much of my internet. I don't exactly have good internet. But thank you everyone who watched. I will be ending this stream now simply because... Oh, what's that? Oh god, I need to... Yes, I will be ending this live stream very soon. Let's just... There we go. I shall be ending this very soon. I will finish this with some music from the actual game. This track is Memories of Men. Speaking of the music, would you mind just saying something about this music?
Yeah, basically, well, we have two composers right now working on the soundtrack, and basically what has been decided is we're giving them free rein on how to do this, but the only requirements are that the soundtrack is immersive, is fitting to the game. Aside from that, yeah. Right now we don't have the resources to do a orchestral soundtrack with studio recordings and things like this, but even so, our composers have put a lot of work into this project, and they might surprise you. Actually, they will surprise you, I think. Oh, I see. We have another question. I think. Do we have enough time to answer this question?
Yes. I actually have no notes on the time. It's just been about an hour, so I don't want to keep it too long, but...
Okay, so basically, yes, we will have cutscenes in the game, and it will be a mixture of such elements. I mean, you can talk to basically any NPC in the world, any of them. You can talk to them, you can ask them questions. Some of them can teach you skills, some of them can sell you items, and yeah, but
Oh, whoa, hold on, my internet is... I am still streaming, right?
I'm unsure. I think we lost Constantine.
Oh, yes we did.
Okay, so, I guess to wrap up what he was trying to say is that, like most games, you have two kinds of cutscenes. Making a mixture of both of them is generally the best route to take, because sometimes you have the need for an animated cutscene, sometimes you have the need for a rendered cutscene. Rendered cutscenes are usually best for times, like an intro sequence, an outro sequence, maybe a change in chapters. Otherwise, we would have animated in-game cutscenes, which regard things like dialogue, things like, docking, flying from place to place, etc.
Yes, and I think that will be our last question, simply because of time constraints. I don't want to keep this make this too long, otherwise I'm going to have to upload it in YouTube in different parts. But yes, thank you everyone for watching this stream. I will be following this game quite closely. And so I'll see you guys back on YouTube, or if I do another stream. So yes, I'll see you guys next time.